Okay, so hey guys, today I'm going to show you my build that is basically a cast on crit build, but I made a change to it, and I'll go into detail about how that change can change like 50% of a cast on crit build gameplay. Starting off, we have a typical wand. 3 gain as extra, plus all spell skill, crit damage bonus, crit chance. These 2 you can do cast speed and crit spell damage bonus, or you can do cast speed and crit chance for spell. Plus all level of all spell skill is mandatory though. You can plus 4 if you want. This I make it a bit more fancy. Plus 5. This you can have, for a prefix, you can have gain as extra cold and extra lightning and then spell damage, or gain an extra cold, extra fire and spell damage, or lightning, fire and spell damage, however you want it. For rings, I have increased maximum mana, plus maximum mana, resistances, a little bit of cast speed, cold damage, but most these rings are mostly you want plus maximum mana and increased maximum mana. The rest it's just resistances. Guess as much as resistances as you can. Increased lightning damage I have here, and increased cold is not needed. You can just ignore them. You only need the mana and the resistances. I'm using Headhunter because it's OP, making you do a lot of damage, like amplitude, cure damage, like ×2, ×3, your survivability as well. It's quite cheap right now, like 3 events I think. For the glyphs, I'm using this one. It have increased energy shield. You want as much as energy shield flat as you can, so we can have more mana. And you want resistances, you want critical damage bonus, and you want 60% increased effect of socketed items. I have Tech Out Grace over here. It's not mandatory, but it's super nice. It's quite expensive though. Life Pot efficiency, because our spell over here costs quite a lot of life, and as you can see, our life pool is not that huge because we're not blood mage, we're oracles. So yeah, get this if you can. This one is like 2 exile I think. You can replace this one with other rune that you need, like resistances or maximum mana. For the boots, I'm using Windscreen because it have like curse have no activation delay. But you see, look at our curse. It's instant. Whether if you don't have the boots. Super slow. Okay. You can use a rare boots, but you do have to sacrifice some damage and some of the damage node and spec into the curse activation. Goes over here, 40%, 3%, 10%, 10%, and then 40%. As well as having jewels that increase curse activation. So I'm using this because it's faster, less concerning, less cost, and it's only 15 exile I think. And you need the Covenant. This is basically gonna turn into a budget blood mage, which is OP because you gain another ascendancy through a chest. It gives you life remnants, which a really nice bonus when you need to heal, because as you can see over here, our main DPS all use life because we have life tap on them and bloodlet. You want the life cost efficiency line, the spell Leashes Life. These 2 are mandatory, and you don't want the skill gain base life cost to 100 rings mana cost, because look, we have a 494 life cost, but when we equip this, it have that line, and it's cost 1,000 now, which doesn't allow our cast to afford that health, so you don't want that line. Next is our helmet. I'm using Vertex with plus spirit, which is quite expensive. You can use Vertex with +3 and 2 spirit, or you can use Alpha Howl, which is grants a ton of spirit, 100 spirit. But the +4 is really powerful. It gives us more damage, a lot more damage. 194, 63. That is huge. But you know, a +3 would work as well, a bit less damage, or an Alpha Howl if you're on a really tight budget. Let me see how much is a +3. 9 divines +2, 1 divine. Okay. +4 is about 150 divines, because you don't need the plus spirit. It's a nice extra I want to have. And you want Idol of Eshta in the hat. This thing is like 14 divines, I think. For amulet, you want to allocate this. This is OP because the extra mana that you receive doesn't stop at being capped, but it go over. So you have extra survivability. You want that, and you want spirit, of course, like 50 spirit. You want plus all spell skill. You can +1 or +2 based on your budget, and you want plus maximum mana and resistances if you need them. If you don't need them, then that's fine. Here I have a sceptre. The most important stat is a spirit. The rest is not needed, only spirit. This purify fire doesn't need it either. It's the spirit that you need. Go for some skill first. Life ram, purify fire, extra fire resistant, of course, and you can have like these gems for absolutely free, no spirit cost. See, 30, 20, 20, 30, all free because this thing costs 0 spirit, therefore it doesn't add any to it. If you remove them, see, doesn't cost any spirit to put in. Life remnant doesn't cost any spirit either. You want remnant potency, harmonic remnants, and kata rejuvenation. This is basically a free 40% increased cooldown recovery. It's not needed, but if you can afford it, it's nice. Elemental weakness. We want our radius to be as big as we can while maintaining a good damage boost. So we have a Deodrian doing. This is needed. This is basically what turns elemental weakness to have damage, so you need this. Spell cascade. Turn 1 circle into 3 circle. This make that our chaos damage from our elemental weakness do freeze. You can do embitter instead of this. This costs 140 divines, so it's more damage and freeze as well. You can do embitter. You can do embitter as well. It's absolutely fine. So yeah, magnify area. So our circle our circle is bigger. Look, what if I remove it? Our circle is way smaller. Guys, so definitely try to put this in. Okay, now we have cast on crit. I want more comments cast, so that's why I have 2 comments. Etcher Torment right here, refund cost and more damage. You can use Zenith instead of this if you're not a gambler, you know, while playing the game. But this is nice because it also recover the cost and it do more damage. Just 60, Zenith only 30. But it's nice. Look at our comment. 250, 190. Spell Cascade, so instead of 1 comment raining down, it's gonna be 3 instead of 1. Life cost, so turn mana cost into life cost. Look at the mana cost. Absolutely terrifying. Cast on ailment. I'm putting the unique things is that I'm using both Fireball and Comet. Usually you only see cast on crit on 1 skill. I'm using both of them. That's why I have plus all spell skill instead of plus all cold spell skill. So I can utilize both of them. Living Bomb, of course, lowest level as you can. These things doesn't really matter if you can afford like expensive, like quality 23 plus 21. These one you want as high as level as you can in quality. Yeah, you'll see the game. As you can see, the gameplay, the Fireball and Comet are absolutely terrifying. The Fireball helps you clear mobs. Like look, when you cast Elemental Weakness, it's only in 80 degree of your perspective. Maximum. You can reach your back. You can only cast forward. But with Fireball, if you cast forward, it's gonna trigger Fireball with Psionic Temper. It's gonna fire the Fireball all around your body, covering 360 degree, so you don't have to worry about your surroundings. Living Bomb, of course, provide us with fire infusion, which turn our Comet permanently into fire infused. Look at the damage; it's double. Of course, life cost because the mana is terrifying. Arctic Armor, you can have this off if you want to, but this helps with our survivability. Like if you blink into a pack of monster, they're gonna stun you, they're gonna kill you instantly. But if you have Arctic Armor, you dash into the enemy pack. The enemy who wants to attack you gonna be pushed away, and it does a bit of damage as well. Blink, our mobility, you know. We need to dash, we need to dodge anything, we should just blink. Without the blink, we dodge roll, which is really boring. Yep, it's really impatient. Without Azerian Pension, our blink recovery is really long. These are nice to have. Siphon element you don't need, but it's really nice because it's create extra infusion for your Ice Wall and Comet, making them much more powerful. But it's only 7% though. 7% when you freeze the target or non-shock. Mana Remnant, you need this because mana is your scaling. More mana you have, more damage you do. But your mana is also count as your life pool because enemy gonna attack you and they gonna subtract your mana first before your life. So this thing help you recover your mana. Art Mage, this is needed. Give us 4% extra lightning for each mana you have. Absolutely huge. We're stacking mana. Our Comet is 194k. I turned off. It turned into 116k. So you're gonna need them. It's basically 50% of our damage, by the way. You want Diala on it because look, the more quality you have on a gem, the less spirit preservation you're gonna need. Go over the tree over here. I'm playing Oracle, you know, typical ball ascendancy Oracle. It looked like a ball. Spec into these, spell damage, damage. Over here, we spec into these, life spell. The Varana over here, you don't need, but if you have a good Varana, you put it over here. This big note doesn't really matter. Look, 40 spell damage. Just like that. One note. Elemental damage. These are a huge increase. Guys, look. Like, without it, I lose 50k of my damage. But you know, it's not mandatory. If you remove these points, you can spec into more crit over here, which is more damage anyway. So it's okay if you don't have a good heroic tragedy. Over here, we're gonna spec into this, and then we're gonna spec around these points, like these insane energy node, meta skill, and trigger skill. Guys, remember, cast on crit, cast on ailment, and elemental weakness is count as trigger. And these two casts is count as meta. So keep in mind, we have these against burning enemies and area effect. Because we use cast on ailment, we're gonna have a lot of ailments on the enemy, so these are nice. This is also the increased spell damage that costs life. All our spell costs life. So 40% free damage right here. Cast speed, more mana, ailment, which is we need for cast on ailment, elemental damage, arcane surge with chance to gain arcane surge. Over here we spec Black Flame Covenant, and then we spec every point within the time lost jewel radius. Doesn't matter, these are quite nice, but these are useless. But our time loss provides massive amount of damage because 1% increased mana, which is our scaling. Crit damage bonus, crystal bonus. Let me show you how huge they are. 194, 142. Just 25% damage. And look at the mana. 200 mana. So you want to spec that. Take as much points so we can take advantage of the time lost sapphire. For this thing, it's quite expensive, so if you were to get a similar one, you want upgrade to large, you want crit, spell damage, crit chance, crit damage bonus. You don't have to be exactly like this, you can be versatile. Okay, we're gonna go over here, we spec into this. This doesn't really do anything, but it allows us to spec into 3 more points over here. So 1, 2, 3 each is 20 crit spell damage, so 60 crit for 3 points and 3% mana. Huge. And we spec into this one, 35% spell area damage. Over here we spec into Adric Battering, and then we scale with arcane intensity, huge, 90 spell damage for 1 point. These are nice, more mana, crit chance, and then we go over here, spec into Condor. Doesn't really do anything, but we spec into these useful node over here. This time loss, I don't have it's different because I want my elemental weakness to be big circle, so it covers more enemies, hit more enemies, deal more damage, and gain more energy for my cast on crit. So area of effect occurs, area of effect, crit damage bonus. This line doesn't really do anything. Spec into that, spec into as much point as I can within the time loss circle. This one. How did I do this without specting into chaos inoculation? You cannot spec into this because you're gonna have no life to cast these spells. Don't spec into chaos. You want from nothing to spec into chaos inoculation. It's quite expensive, but save you a lot of skill points for these. Cast speed, freeze build up. You want freeze build up because for the cast on ailment, guys. Save 2 points right here, spec into the big point, and go over here. These are meta, which is our cast, and trigger, which is all three. This is triggered due to Deodry. Deodry turn elemental weakness into a damage spell that deal chaos damage. We go over here, we spec into more trigger, meta, trigger. Over here, curse magnitude, which is how much your curse is reducing the elemental weakness. Hinder, huge, aerial effect, bigger circle, W. Over here, you need this. This is basically reserving your spirit from these two meta skill by a lot. So let me show you. If I unspec that, I don't have enough spirit. Literally don't have enough. So yeah, spec into that for spirit, guys. Over here, we spec into this. Take these two big nodes and take this node. 3% movement speed, chaos damage, 39 total attribute. Huge. I think that's huge. You don't have to take that, but from nothing. Yeah, our Heart of the Well, you need the leech is instant. The rest is just whatever. More damage, good. Cast speed, good. Crit, good. But you only need the leech. It's instant. So, that's all. Let me show you with mapping experience. I'm going to take this with Delirium, which basically turned this map into a T16. Oh, let me see if I can get a T16 by corruption. First try? Nope. Damn. Let me try again, guys. Come on, at least one. Wow. We're just gonna do 315 if I can't get one. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I have one more. It doesn't really matter. They don't have a big difference. Let me see which one is hard though. Which one is juicy? Oh, this one. Look at this one. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, let me show you the mapping experience. We're gonna do this. So free eradicate. Our monster level are automatically 980. Delirium, which turned this into a T16. Empower boss and I don't know, random. This build can run a 6-man at Zuri Temple, completely fine. Can run Arbiter of Ash, 6-man, completely chill. Kill Arbiter of Ash in like 5 seconds, buff phase. Citadel, they get 1 shot. So yeah. At Zuri, I clear 1 room in 3 second max. Because of those that hide in the corner. This one. Everything just dies. Our cowball fireball right there. You can see securing our back. Dash, blink, blink. I'm still new to this blink build, so I may blink into a wall, guys. I'll see. Blah blah blah. Oop, almost died there. Look at our mana, guys. Don't dash. Don't dash like me, guys. Very dangerous. In these small maps, you don't want to dash. You don't know what you're gonna dash into. So just like walk. Why am I keep getting freeze? I have a freeze. Charm. You don't want dash in these small maps, guys. You may dash into a pack of monster and die. So I'm just gonna walk right here. Once I get like a lot of headhunter stack, I can start to, but still risky since this is a juice map. I still want to try everything because this is how powerful the build is. See our fireball fire up to over here, killing some mobs. I just need to place a frost wall, and look, the frost wall is powerful, guys. Oh, start lagging. The frost wall is what's powerful, guys. It's help you insta trigger your castle and crit setup without any limits. It's like it acts like a catalyst for instant instant dead. The boss. This is T16 juice map with empower boss, by the way. I'll show you a map without headhunter. How about that? In return, I'll use ingenuity though. You know, normal ingenuity though. It's still one shot, by the way. So ooh, this one is huge. 81, basically T16 with Mirror Delirium, which is T17. Oh my. Guys, please do note that the higher monster level, the higher your casts on ailment are going to have trouble because they have more resistance. As you can see here, there's no comment or fireball as often as the easier map. Please note that the